Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for the Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 7. Okay, I feel like this episode was a little bit better, but it still felt like a filler episode. But I liked it. But it's late and I'm tired, and I did not feel like reviewing it. So I'm like, let me do it, because if not, it'll be 3 days late. Y'all know to like, to subscribe, to share, to comment in the comment section, to relax, to relate, to release, to center yourself and everyone around you, and always inhale and exhale, because sometimes we just need it. Um, we see Drew. Okay, Drew and Ralph walking around the neighborhood or whatever. Drew, some kind of way, has a loving husband in this episode. He's very, very nice and debonair and trying to be a loving husband to her. I'm like, oh, okay. I wish we could have gotten this Ralph in the beginning. Dan seen a little bit of his issues and him redeeming himself, but I mean, it is what it is. And we see her calling Candy, inviting Candy to a little dinner party at their house. Now, she wants to have this dinner party at their current house, even though they're in the process of moving. I'm like, are y'all really in the process of moving? Because who wants to have a dinner party when you're moving? Ain't your plates packed up? Ain't the chairs packed up? Ain't there boxes all over the place because you're moving? Is y'all moving now? Y'all moving later? Like, are y'all planning to move like 6 months from now? Because I don't know nobody who wants to have a dinner party. They're actively moving. You gotta pack shit up or whatever. I'm gonna leave that be. Now, we do see Kenya and LaToya at lunch. I feel like Kenya has attached herself to LaToya for a storyline, because again, nothing else. She ain't got nothing else going on. I'm just like, what is going on here? Okay, Kenya brings up, I was cleaning up my house or whatever, and I found these items I wanted to give you. She gave LaToya some bra and panties that she had never wore, because she gained a little bit of weight. And so, she giving her these bra and panty sets. I'm looking like, I don't want no one to give me their bra and panty sets. Even if you haven't worn them, I'm looking like, no, I don't need this. It's okay, mama. And I feel like Kenya and LaToya have not known each other that long, so I don't know you enough to want to take your panties and your bras. Because, I mean, did you try them on at one point and just never wore them? Like, did you put them up to your titty? Like, I don't know if I want that in my life. But again, LaToya, thank you, because they want to be gay for play, for a storyline. I'm not here for it or whatever. Okay. Now, she then brings up how this trip to South Carolina, how her, Brooklyn, the nanny, and LaToya will be taking a private jet. Okay, because she wants to go a couple hours early to get the house all set up. I'm like, a private? It's people kept saying like, who takes a private jet to South Carolina from Georgia? Like, it's like a 4 or 5 hour drive or whatever. I'm looking like, girl, can you want to be extra? I'm like, can you feel like, oh my God, I spent my stimulus money on this private jet, girl? Because people always say you can really charter a private jet for a short flight like that for like a couple $1,000s or whatever. And because it's just 4 people, it probably costs her, $2,800, maybe $3,000, whatever. Her whole little stimulus check and whatnot. Okay, now she brings up how she don't care if the other ladies are upset, because she gonna have them travel to, because it's Kenya's trip. It's Kenya and LaToya's trip. I'm like, girl, whatever. But Kenya, it's her trip or whatever. The other ladies are going to take a Sprinter van to South Carolina, whatever. I don't care if they don't like it. They can use their own money to get them their own private jet if they got good credit. I'm looking like, Kenya, girl, the shade of it all. Now, while they sitting there chit chatting or whatever, Drew then calls to invite Kenya to her house for the little dinner party or whatever. Can LaToya come? Because she's here too. I mean, sure. Because at this point, Drew don't know Toya. They've only met one time or whatever. But again, we have that. Now, Kenya does mention before Drew hangs up that her and Toya and the kid or whatever will be what did she to the kid? I know she at least said her and LaToya will be taking a private jet to South Carolina, and they will be in a Sprinter car. So again, Drew knows that bit of information and whatnot. Now, we then see her and LaToya just because of her failed marriage or whatever. Look, we know that Mark just recently, happy birthday to Kenya, her birthday is today, she turned 50, but we know that Mark, you know, um, released a statement that he and Kenya are officially divorced. Like it's over. Okay, I mean it's been over for a long time, but again, like ain't no mediation no more, ain't no working nothing out, ain't no her trying to use me for a storyline. It's over. Okay, it's over now and stuff. Okay, so again, we know they're divorcing for real. But she brings up how things are not good with them and everything and whatnot, and saying that she hates the fact that she has to basically get permission from him to do anything with Brooklyn. Like she can't take Brooklyn out the country without his permission. She also cannot use Brooklyn in any like advertising for her own business or whatever without his permission. Um that would aggravate the fuck out of me too. Like, it's my daughter, and I get not taking a child out the country without the other parent being okay with that. But if I want to have my child in my hair care line, which I don't know why, because I mean you having a baby line. Anyway, so but it would be aggravating if every time I want to do, anytime I want to do anything, I had to get permission from someone else who has never even lived with me and my child. But I feel like Kenya, that's karma. Okay, you married this man and had this beautiful baby girl, and now this man is making life a living hell. We know Mark ain't shit, but I feel like Kenya has created this toxic marriage based on her wanting to fake like they was this happy couple. I feel like had she left him a long time ago when things were bad and they were not getting good, it could be better by now, but she's in the thick of the badness right now. So maybe in like 5 years, they'll be better. Anyway, now, because they have been separated for a year, and I don't think we can ever remember a time that they were happy, at least on camera. Okay. Anyway, we do see Drew at her little dinner party and everything. I liked Drew's hair. However, Drew was dressed like she was really at a dinner party, like a fancy dinner party. And no one else was except her. I feel like she was the only one who got the, dressy memo for her house party. It was like a little dinner. Okay, little drinks or whatever, the food. But again, I think she looked pretty. I liked it. But again, she seemed out of place based on how everyone else came so casual. Okay, came so casual. I don't like the heavy makeup on her eyes, but I get what she was going for. But had she been going to a real fancy party, she would have been looking she would have looked amazing in my opinion. We do see her house must not have good acoustics, because every time somebody was knocking at the door, ringing the doorbell, they couldn't hear it. I'm like, how? It's production in there. You got the chef. It was two bartenders. It was her and Rob. I'm like, no one hears people ringing the doorbell and knocking on the door. And only participants in said dinner was Candy, Portia, Cynthia, and Kenya. So only 4 people arrived. It wasn't even loud in the house. They didn't have no music playing. I'm like, how does no one hear the doorbell? But I'm gonna leave that be. But they was all sitting around chitting, chatting or whatever. Okay, it was what it was. See, look, Drew was the only one kind of dressed up. Girl, the fact that Kenya came in an Adidas dress and some sneakers and her hair barely combed says a whole bunch and whatnot. Okay, and Cynthia was in liquid leggings with all that ass. I'll leave that be too. Anyway, so Ralph again was on his best behavior. Was a whole nice husband. Okay, a good little hostess, get them drinks and whatever they needed or whatever. And yes, sir, no, sir. And I'm like, okay, being a whole nice husband. Ooh. Sorry, y'all. I may cut that out. I may not. I can't remember. Anyway, so again, Ralph is there being a good husband coming in or whatever. And at one point, Portia, does he work out? He looks so strong, because Ralph was like in a tight shirt, and he did look like he just came from the gym. And Portia jokingly used to like, oh yeah, we should just have him at the table. Ha 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 ha. It was a good moments of fun and joking amongst the ladies. It was a good feeling. Okay, it was the old housewife where they, just chit and chatting or whatever. Now in the confessional, the messy ass production, asked Portia, "How do you think Ralph looks?" And she said, "That's a Kenya question. Like, that's that lady husband. I don't have time for that. You ask Kenya those kind of questions or whatever." And they did. And Kenya then said, "Oh, he looks cute." Girl, stop. See, this is why Mark was your asshole to deal with. I tell you all the time. Marriage sometimes is about finding an asshole that you can deal with. And Kenya found the top of the line asshole who was not able to deal with her and vice versa. But stop commenting like that about other people's husbands. Now they sitting around chit chatting and everything, and they bring up how Toya, who was invited, isn't there. And Portia then brings up, "Well, you should be happy she's here, girl, because she was talking cash shit about your wig." We then see, like, maybe 4 days ago, the ladies were all met up, and Toya was saying how Drew's wig was ugly, this and ugly that. It was a horrible wig, like this, talking cash shit. And I'm like, why don't do that or whatever. And Drew was like, what? Like, I don't even know. Like, she coming for me. Like, I don't know her. Like, she don't know me. Like, I've only met her one time. Like, how can you come from my quarantine wig or whatever? It's COVID. You know what I'm saying? I had to do what I had to do. And it was a quarantine wig or whatnot. I agree. Even Cynthia brought up how they were sitting outside that day and the wig was maybe lifting because it was so humid outside, you know what I'm saying? And the glue don't stick. But again, I still don't feel as if the wig was that bad. Now, in her confessional, girl Drew asked production, "What does Toya do? Like, what does she even do?" They replied, "She has a YouTube channel." And I was like, oh, here we go. Now, the way they responded, it was shady, because saying to someone, "Oh, they have a YouTube channel," anyone can have a YouTube channel. That does not mean that is their job. So when she replied, said, "Oh, is that a job?" Okay. And it was shade, of course. However, had they said she is a successful content creator on YouTube, that's a better way to explain it. Because again, when you say to someone, "Oh, they have a YouTube channel," no one who doesn't do YouTube realize what that means, especially if you're someone who is successful on YouTube. Like, I went to her page today, and she has over 1 million subscribers. So, she's a successful YouTuber or whatever. But again, the way they said she has a YouTube channel, it did seem like, oh, little yang or whatever. Well, ain't that much or whatnot. Anyway, that was funny to me. Now, Candy bring up how she did think it was weird what she was saying, because again, Toya don't know Drew. So to have all that to say based on meeting someone one time at a party outside in the heat, it's like, girl, messy. Drew then brings up how, sometimes we do the best we can and whatnot. Look at Kenya. She came in what she came in, and sometimes we do the best we can. I'm looking like, girl, the shade of it all. Because, Kenya did not look bad at all, but she also didn't look done up. Like, her hair was kind of messy or whatever. This little dress and some sneakers and whatnot. But again, she didn't do much, but she didn't look bad, but she did. She came in what she came in, truth be told or whatever. Kenya then say, "Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? I look better than Drew. When I'm saying I can outdress Drew, whatever, and let's not even talk about our beauty," as she said in her confession. No, I'm looking like, first of all, Drew is really, really pretty. Like, she said it as if Drew was ugly. And I'm like, let's be honest, everyone on this show is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no ugly people on the show. Like, I think the last ugly cast member was probably Kim Zolciak. But again, I'm like, Kenya can't make it seem as if she's the pretty one. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not true. Because they're all pretty. They're all pretty or whatever, okay? Now we see the ladies at the table eating and chit-chatting or whatever. Drew brings up how her mom is a pastor and how Ralph plays the piano and how she sings praise and worship or whatever. Kenya then said, "Oh, you should sing something." And then she proceeds to sing Amazing Grace. Oh, man. Nah, I'm not going to do it. But she sings Amazing Grace. We then see them flash back into when Portia sang it a few seasons ago. I mean, Portia wasn't as on key as Drew was. Portia didn't do horrible, but Drew did better. Drew has a voice. You know what I'm saying? She could do a little something or whatnot. Okay. Now she brings up how she wanted to like do some music or whatever to work on some things, but again, because her and Ralph going through some things or whatever, she has not done that just yet. Now when Kenya then brings up how, all the ladies will be taking they have to meet at Candy's house to take the Sprinter van to South Carolina. Drew was like, "Oh, so are we all going to Candy?" She's like, "Well, no, me and LaToya would be leaving early." "Oh, are y'all have your own van?" She's like, "No." Now we find out that after Kenya told Drew about the private jet, she then texted Drew and told Drew not to tell anyone else. So Drew then still brought it up at the table and whatnot. Okay, which makes Kenya feel as if, okay, I can't trust Drew. I got my eye on her poodle wig. I'm like, first of all, leave Drew wig alone. It's not a poodle wig, Kenya. Oh, messy ass. It was funny though. Anyway, Kenya then admit, me and LaToya will be going there on a private jet or whatever. They're like, "What? Oh, okay. Is that really? You in a jet, we in a van? Oh, okay." But again, it's Kenya's trip. They don't care too much. Again, it's only a 5-hour drive to South Carolina or whatever. I'm like, again, can't use her stimulus, so leave her be. Now, we do see everyone getting packed up to go on the trip or whatever. Cynthia talking to Noelle, who brings up like every time they do a trip or whatever, it seems to bring them together, but it also always causes some bullshit somewhere up and through, okay? Now, Drew and Ralph are at the house too, and she's changing clothes and like trying different things to take, and they're being a cute little couple. Again, I mean, Ralph must have broke up with his girlfriend in Tampa because he's being so nice to his wife. He's being so nice to his wife, is what I meant to say. Portia then is at her house on the phone with her mom because Dennis will have PJ with his mom, but her mom will also kind of be on standby to help just in case or whatever. Okay, now over at Candy's estate, Candy house is huge. Okay, she has a whole estate. Her and Todd is talking about the clothes or whatever. Todd tells her how she's getting thick like Meg Thee Stallion. Okay, looking real good around here and whatever. Okay, he also brings up how he will be like doing the bachelor party for Mike, and he then suggests that Candy put together something for Cynthia while on the trip to maybe call the people they work with during their dungeon tour, get some strippers, like have a whole good raunchy time in South Carolina. So as we find out, it was Todd who came up and brought the bullshit around here. Okay, this is all Todd's fault. Todd is his fault for Strippergate. Anyway, so we do see over at Kenya's house, her house is in a ditch for real because LaToya's luggage just slid and rolled right down the hill into a ditch. I'm looking like, girl, get some railings around your driveway or whatever. Now in the car, we do see Kenya and Tanya talking or whatever, and Kenya tells her how Portia told Drew that she was talking shit about her wig or whatever, which makes Kenya say, "Oh, it was just some nonsense," and it makes LaToya say how Drew. Oh no, Toya said how Portia was being extra and messy, whatever. I'm like, girl, bye. Anyway, they have like a little 1-hour flight from Atlanta to South Carolina, whatever. I'm like, Lord Jesus Christ, a 1-hour flight on a private jet. If you have it to spend, fine. Now, Kenya said the reason she did it was so that Brooklyn can travel easy peasy and whatnot. The fact that they was blurring her Brooklyn's face, I'm like, you on a whole show where your husband won't show up and you can't show your daughter? Girl, Mark is like, checkmate. I won't be on the show and you can't show our daughter either. I'm like, damn. I kept wondering why we was not seeing Kenya and the little girl because Mark won't allow her to be filmed. They get to that little house and the house was beautiful. And they assign rooms, and she gives Marlo like the worst room because we see Toya told Kenya that Marlo said to not trust Kenya. So now Kenya feels as if Marlo wants some bullshit. She should be happy she's even on the trip. So she gets the worst room. She gets the worst room But I don't think it's a worse room. It's just not as fancy as some of the other rooms that were not boom pow pow. Now we do see everybody meet up at Kenya's house, not Kenya girl, Candy's house, and her and Portia was talking about how sad they were to have to leave their daughters. Shamia was there too. Shamia was sad too. We see Dennis drop Portia off, as Portia said, "I didn't want to catch no Uber. So why not just use him?" I'm like, girl, okay, yeah, I guess so. Now they're all getting along great or whatever. We see Drew arrives, Tanya, Shamia, and Marlo. Marlo came in a whole spacesuit, a whole hazmat suit. I'm like, Marlo's so extra. Anyway, they all on the Sprinter bus. What are you at? Sprinter bus. Now it's a 5-hour drive. It's hot on that bus because there's no air. You would not have me driving anywhere for 5 hours with no air, and I can't open the windows either. No, we have to pull over. We have to go charter a private plane right now. They do discuss Portia. Then it's on the on the bus or whatever. She brings up how they went to dinner because she wanted them to be able to be around each other for PJ's sake, and so they need to talk. He then told her how it was devastating. Okay, it was heartbreaking. It was horrific. Okay, them not being together or whatever, and how he now understands how she felt and how she was pissed off at him and how she did things because she had to deal with their breakup or whatever. And I'm looking like, girl, I don't care. But Portia says, as much as she's trying to make it seem as if he's doing all this work to get her back, she is still giving him the side eye. But she is not giving him any coochie, okay? They have not had sex at all, as she said. I mean, I think they've had sex since then now. Okay, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are a couple. They are back together, but it is what it is. Now, on the bus, they do discuss the fact that Kenya and LaToya took a private jet, and they were upset about that. But then when Marlo put her phone out and was on social media, and she seen a picture of Brooklyn on the jet too, which made them all realize, oh, she brought Brooklyn on the trip. That pissed off, Drew, Candy, Shamia, and Portia. They all have, kids that's around Brooklyn's age. So how can you have a trip and not tell anyone that you're bringing your child? And we all have children, but not all, but those four, have kids or whatever. I mean, it's giving me Housewives of Potomac tea. At the same time, the difference was on Potomac, Monique didn't bring her kid, but she allowed Ashley to do it. This is different because if you're the host of the event and you bring your child, you should mention it to the other women who have kids the same age as your child. Even though she brought a nanny, and her nanny has a different villa. Like, her nanny lives wherever else, so it's not as if the kid will be there all day. But she did mention how Brooklyn will be sleeping there at night. But again, your child is still there. And I'm pretty sure all of them could have also set up the same arrangements to have their nanny and kid elsewhere, but still be able to be a parent to their kid. So again, that may be a bit of a mess. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But that's how it was. I'm on that hot ass bus of sex. Anyway, that's all. I'm done. Peace.